Okay, guys, last one. Everyone, please raise your hand. Okay, now from about here over, go ahead and put them down. If we all underwent open heart surgery today, those with our hands still in the air represent how many of us would experience some form of post-surgical complication. Each year in the United States and EU, over 800,000 patients undergo cardiac surgery, and 50% of these patients experience some form of post-surgical complication, such as injury to the kidney, the brain, the gut, and the lungs. I'm Doug Vincent from VentriFlo, and I'm here to cut those complications in half. Like adults, pediatrics also undergo open heart surgery. Each year, 40,000 children are born with congenital heart defects, and many of these will undergo the rigors of open heart surgery to repair these issues. Like adults, they have similar rates and severity of post-surgical complications. Many of these complications are related to poor blood flow, which is delivered today by the current heart-lung machines. When you're attached to a current heart-lung machine, this is your pulse. Needless to say, this is very different than what's supplied today by your native ventricle. Research shows that 30% of capillary beds fail to open with continuous flow. It's like a third of your body holding its breath for the couple hours you're in surgery. This is not good. Pump manufacturers have attempted to respond by doing this. But not only does this risk additional trauma to the blood, it fails to produce a true physiologic pulse. The VentriFlo True Pulse Pump is fundamentally different and able to mimic the human heart. How? By starting with a motor that's inherently cyclic, a speaker. Similar in concept to the one you're hearing me over today, but instead of pushing air to create sound waves, we gently squeeze the blood to make a pulse. Utilizing this approach, we can recreate the human heart. Clinical evidence shows that pulsatile flow improves patient outcomes and that the best pulsatile flow is physiologic. Like a lot of things in medicine, the dose and the delivery, in this case of pulse, matters. And importantly, improved patient outcomes shortens hospital length of stay. So our value proposition is simple. By providing a biomimetic pulse, we improve patient outcomes, shorten the hospital length of stay. And because hospital reimbursement for procedures are fixed, this saves hospitals money, and this aligns well with accountable care. We have 5 patents across the US, Europe, Canada, and Japan, and additional IP in development. We have a number of prototypes and have successfully tested on 8 animals up at Dartmouth Hitchcock Medical Center and shown improved capillary blood flow. Our go-to-market strategy is to start first for those for whom this has the greatest lifetime benefit, and that's pediatrics. The other benefit of pediatrics is that there are large regional centers, and from there we'll move on to high-risk adults, followed by the broader adult market, first in the US and then in the EU. Our design approach allows the VentriFlo pump to easily replace the current continuous flow pumps and still work within the existing heart-lung systems. There are 3 main players for the cardiopulmonary bypass pump market and a number of smaller players, and all of these are potential partners or competitors. Our buyers are the surgical team in the hospitals themselves, and there are over 3,000 centers in each of the US and EU. So with a small direct sales force, we plan to deploy that to place consoles in centers. The recurring revenue is with a simple single-use blood pump like this one here that has a high, over 90% gross margin. And our plan is to have 120 of these consoles placed in 5 years, utilizing 8,000 blood pumps, generating over $40 million in annual sales. Incredibly, this system is only a 510(k) clearance, and since the United States is a large and unfragmented market and roughly the same regulatory pathway as Europe, this is where we'll start. I'd like to thank VMS for all the support and the opportunity to present here today and leave you with one final thought. For your or your child's surgery, which would you want? This or this? The VentriFlo True Pulse Pump, blood flow the way it should be. Thank you.